Good morning, children. Welcome back. Okay. So in our previous class, we have seen how we can practically use this poetical devices in our poem. That's it. We have discussed about certain poetical device like rhyming words, rhyming scheme, how we are to use, and about the imagery, and also we have seen about the three things, that is simile, metaphor, and personification. All those things we have discussed, so hope you remembered all those things and started to practically use in your poems, I think so now we are moving a little bit further, that is some more deeply we are going into that, discussing about some more poetical devices, how we can use it in our poem. Okay, first we can start with an easy one, that is alliteration. You all know, is it, what is alliteration? So it is the in a line, for the each word beginning with the same alphabet, same letter. Okay, so maybe two words you can make it as alliterated words. So in our first poem, have you remember the first line? Let me but live my life, let me let leave, so beginning with the letter L. Okay, do you remember that? Yes, that is alliteration. So when you are writing poem, more than two words you can make it as alliterated words. If it is possible all words you can make with alliterated words, except this articles, all those things you can lift, remaining you can make it as alliterated words. Okay, so the whole, if it is possible, whole stanza you can arrange in such a way, so this all things will make your poem that is poetic, no? Yes. So this alliteration in Tamil, if you are talking about, you will be saying in morning, that is first letter, the same words repeating, all those things. Yes. So now alliteration, hope you understand what is alliteration. So use when you are writing poem, use all those things. Okay, children. So now next thing is we are going to talk about this assonance. So what is the difference between this alliteration and assonance? Assonance, see the vowel letters, A, E, I, O, U, that sound will be repeated again in the same line. That is called as assonance. Assonance and consonants also there. So here we can talk about this assonance. This vowel sounds repeated again in a line, same thing. So let me quote you an example from your poem, that is from the fifth poem we will study, The Secret of Machines. Their second stanza, first line, some coal and oil is all we ask, all ask, beginning with that R sound, no? All we ask, that is assonance. Okay, so this all ask beginning with that same sound, that we call it as assonance. Okay, so now we are seeing two poetic device, that is alliteration and assonance. Okay, when you are using this vowel sound repeatedly in a line, we call it as assonance. So one more thing that you can use it in your poem that make it stylish is beginning with the same word, that is each line, 2 or 3 consecutive lines beginning with the same word, that we call it as anaphora. Okay, so that fifth poem itself, take it as an example. First stanza, we were taken from the war bed and the mine, we were melted in the furnace and the pit, we were cast and wrought and hammered to design, all those things, we were cut and filed and tooled and gauged to fit, all those things you have studied. All these stanzas, what is the speciality about this first stanza? All these stanzas, these lines begin with the word we were repeatedly with the same word it is beginning, so it is called as anaphora. Understand? So anaphora is different, and see next when we are talking about this anaphora, you have to think about this repetition also. Repetition means not only a single word, a group of words repeated again in the same line or the next lines, it is totally repeated, it is called repetition. So you might have studied in the 9th grade a poem, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. 2 times the same lines are repeated, so that is called repetition. Okay, so can you identify the difference between this anaphora and also this repetition? Anaphora, the words are repeated, maybe one word, the first word from the consecutive lines, it should be repeated. That is called the words like, see here, we were. Okay, do you remember that? So that is anaphora, and when this line totally repeated, we call it as repetition. So, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep, like that, the same words totally. See, no men are foreign, no men and the no countries. Here, this also first line and the last line again it is repeated, so we call it as repetition. First and the last lines are repeated. So that is the thing. Okay, so now today we start with the alliteration, assonance, and the next thing we talk about this anaphora and repetition. Okay, hope you can keep in mind. So yes, let me go somewhat slow one more time. Repetition as well as this anaphora, don't confuse it, as well as this assonance and alliteration too. Okay, alliteration, whatever the letter may be, the beginning with the same letter in the same line, we call it as alliteration. And if it is vowel sounds repeated again, that is what example I had given you. Some, water, coal and oil is all we ask. All ask. Yes, do you understand? Yes, there is a difference. So next we are going to talk about this onomatopoeia. Okay, onomatopoeia is the sound. Okay, so you don't get a chance to read our 7th poem, is it, children? Yes, so when you are getting time, go through it. There it's a house in the M Street, that is a nice poem, you have to read it. There a line is there, lights flicker on and off. The sound, no sound, if we are mentioned, see, if we are throwing a coin, the tingling sound, the tickling of water, all those things, the sound, if they are mentioning, we call it as this onomatopoeia, the sound. So that is the onomatopoeia. Then we are going to talk about this oxymoron. Two opposite things in the same line, if we are mentioning, see, that same thing we can give it as example for oxymoron as well as this onomatopoeia. The sound of that switch, that is we call it as onomatopoeia, and as well as here the same line, light, flicker, on, off. This on, opposite only off, is it? Two opposite things, that words we are talking about, that is in the same line, we call it as oxymoron. Okay, oxymoron, that is for an example, see, we'll use this word sweet revenge. The revenge cannot be sweet, is it, children? So sweet is a positive word, this revenge is a negative word, say opposite of that. So but we will, when we are using this word sweet revenge, two opposite things. You understand, mother? Is oxymoron. Okay, so two opposite words, we are using it in a same line, we call it as this oxymoron. Okay, till now we have seen this today, onomatopoeia and oxymoron. What is onomatopoeia? The sound. Okay, then we learned about this oxymoron, two opposite sounds we are talking about, that is oxymoron. Then next, have you heard about this word paradox? In Tamil, if you want to use this paradox, means we'll call it as muran. Okay, so see, in the 7th poem, the paradox is used there. So we can here see there, first you have to have an idea about that poem. There about a mysterious house they were talking about. First they talk about that house, then about that a tree nearby. So there was a tree near the house, and it was the same, appearing same. It will never grow tall or it will never become short. It was as it is. So it is given there. It just sits there, never getting small and ever growing tall. This is a paradox. Okay, parallel movement. So no trees will be sitting in one place, that is, and also it won't remain the same. It will go. It's a living thing, isn't it? It will, at least it will grow. It will fade away. Something it will have. It will be there. So, but here it is given that it just sits there, never getting small or ever growing tall. Both things it will never do. That is the paradox here. So now we are going to talk about, see, this epithet. Epithet. Have you ever heard this epithet? If I want to say it in Tamil, we will use it as the Adaimoli. Usually, if we are mentioning any heroes or heroines or someone else we are talking about, we will give an name before that. Their original name, before that we will if you are yes, you are very much interested in Vijay. If you are talking about Vijay, you will be telling us Ilaya Talapati, like that you will be giving a name for that man, is it? So if you use that word itself, you will come to know if we are talking about Vijay, is it? So that is epithet. Okay, so that means a describing word used before a noun, that is an adjective used before a adjective is a describing word, is it? If we are using an describing word before that noun, we call it as epithet. Okay, so that is what we use in the same in the second, complaining street. So what kind of a street? It's a complaining street. Complaining is an adjective here. So if an adjective is used before a noun, we call it as epithet. Got it, children? Then another word it will come, that is transferred epithet. This epithet is different from transferred epithet. Epithet, you got an idea, is it? An adjective, a describing word used before a noun, that is an epithet. For example, complaining street, keep in mind. So now we are going to talk about this transferred epithet. So what is this transferred epithet? What's the difference between this epithet and transferred epithet? I will tell you. See, usually epithet means a word, a describing word given for that noun. But here I will quote you an example for show you the difference. Okay, so I will tell you an example for transferred epithet. It is winter starved. So here winter starved is a transferred epithet. So in winter season people will starve, but winter season will never starve. But it is given, the word is given winter starved. Got it, children? So that is transferred. Okay, during winter season people will starve. Okay, that is what the poet want to give you the idea, but he used winter starved. Okay, so that means during winter season the people will starve, but for the starving people only they would have given that epithet, but here they had used as winter starved, so it is we can tell it as it is transferred epithet. Okay, so next thing, one more thing I want to explain you. So today we are seeing about this anaphora and also that repetition, as well as we are seeing about this assonance alliteration, and then we have seen about this paradox, oxymoron, onomatopoeia, that type of words we have seen, as well as now we are going to see about this one more word. It is their rhetorical question. In your poem you can ask a question, you can use some questions. So what kind of question you can ask? In the sense rhetorical question, that means see, we will be getting only the same answer, positive answer from our reader. That kind of question we can ask, that is a rhetorical question. This rhetorical questions can be used in the speech also. You might have learned how to write a good speech. They are using this word. You can use rhetorical question. That means when we are the orator, when we are standing before a group and talking to someone, we should use rhetorical question. If you are feeling that there will be some negative answer, you can't use that question, because they will respond. Is it? They will be beginning to shout from there, saying something negative. So that chance you should not give to your listeners. Okay, that is the the thing. So in the same thing it is applicable in the poem too. You can use some rhetorical question. This rhetorical question example is also you can find it in the 7th unit poem. So if you want to understand more about different kind of poetic devices, it's better you read the 7th unit poem. Okay, you did not get chance to read that as it is a deleted portion, but it will be very useful for your higher studies too when you are learning, when you are reading all those devices. Is it, children? Okay, yes. Today in this class we have seen many poetic devices. Yes. Okay, so first thing we have seen about alliteration. Hope you remember that. That is the first, beginning with the first alphabet same. So assonance means the vowel sound will be same. And also we have seen about that poetic devices, anaphora and repetition. Anaphora means the first word repeated in the consecutive lines, and repetition is the total lines will be repeated for you. That is a repetition. Onomatopoeia is the sound. Okay, so when you are the rain drops, when it is falling, what sound you will get, that sound you can use it in the poem. When you are throwing coins, what sound you will get, all those things. When you are, this all sounds, when you are mentioning it as words, an imagery you can create. Is it, ma? That's very important. So this all are the ways how you can attract your readers. Okay, if someone is reading your poem, it should be attractive. So for that you have to use such kind of poetic devices. So hope you are keep in mind the previous class what are the poetic devices I have used. So today also we have gone through different kinds of poetic devices. This all will help you in your 11th grade as well as 12th grade. When you are moving further with literature, it will help you, I think so. So make it practically apply all these poetic devices. Okay, hope you will do that. I am thinking. Okay, thank you, children.